Sidlaw.
Mr Speaker, thank me for giving me this opportunity to speak. I actually want to begin by saying, given the time constraints, it just goes to show you how important this SNP motion has been brought forward, and I hope that there will be future time to seriously debate this very important issue. In Dundee, we have over 800 staff employed at HMRC's two facilities in my constituency, at Sidlaw House and Caledonian House. I met with some of these staff last Friday, where they confided in me their fears over the recent announcement of significant job losses, which is just the latest in a series of devastating attacks on public service jobs in Dundee that has been endured at the hands of successive Westminster governments. This is completely at odds with what is happening in Dundee just now, which is a city undergoing a £1 billion regeneration project, one of the most extensive in the whole of these islands, as well as bucking the national trend with employment on the up. With the stroke of a pen, however, this Westminster Government has single-handedly put at risk the positive progress this city has recently been making to create and protect jobs. This has been done without public consultation or ministerial sign-off. Unlike Scottish Government, civil servants, HMRC staff will not be covered by a ministerial commitment to no compulsory redundancies. At Caledonian House, for example, we understand 130 jobs will be stripped from the city. I am told the work done there is predominantly either in relation to corporation tax or compliance. 10 years ago, there were over 200 HMRC staff. That HMRC office is now half the space, and it looks like it's going to be boarded up by 2018. Employees, some of whom who have 30-year skills and experience, decades of loyal service, have been abandoned by an organisation they have dedicated their whole careers to. This office currently has only 2 members of staff at grade 6-7, and I disagree with the Minister when he says there's going to be continued training. There used to be 10 key staff of grade 6 and 7 and 4 trainees, now we're down to 2. Staff at Caledonian House are being told that the best outcome they can hope for is a possible transfer to the new Glasgow or Edinburgh centres. Well, if, and I say if, HMRC chooses to re-employ these staff, for I am told this is by no means automatic, the impact on them and their families will be dramatic. Most HMRC employees in Dundee will be well out with the hours commute of the new regional offices in Edinburgh and Glasgow, with what HMRC defines as reasonable daily travel. So, by HMRC's own definition, it will be asking staff to do something it doesn't itself consider to be reasonable. Simultaneously, sorry, I have to go on because I'm cutting short. I do apologise. Mr Speaker, Caledonian House is set to be shut down and boarded up, as I have suggested, yet we have been told the new regional centres in Edinburgh and Glasgow are not open until 2020-2021 at the earliest. So this begs another question. What plans, if any, does HMRC have with 130 staff at Caledonian House? In a letter I recently received from HMRC's Chief Executive Lynn Homer, stated, and I quote, "As Caledonian House is some distance away from the new regional centre, our employees will not automatically move to the regional centre once its office closes." So there we have it, in black and white. HMRC can offer no guarantees of job safety to existing employees at Caledonian House. They will be forced to apply for a job at the new regional centres. Mr Speaker, if that's not betrayal of a loyal and dedicated force, then I don't know what is. At Caledonian House alone, there are 10 couples working under the same roof. Again, this means it's not just an impact on one sole employee, it means in couples. So the devastating effect to both their families and obviously to their lives going ahead. The rationale behind closing Caledonian House earlier is shrouded in mystery. HMRC state, and I quote, "The closure date for Caledonian House reflects the timing of when we will restructure the work that is currently located here." Yet, 2 senior officials who visit Caledonian House on Tuesday the 17th of November could not tell staff how these restructuring plans will play out. So what are we to take from this? As one local union representative put it to me, and I quote, "Mixed messages or misinformation are the only assumptions that can be made." Yes, I'd be happy to do so.
On the point of misinformation, does my honourable friend share with me the concern that last year during the independence referendum the Better Together parties were quick to point out that the only way of securing HMRC tax jobs was by voting no? Was that a betrayal?
In one word, yes. It is indeed very difficult to avoid the conclusion that HMRC are making this up as they go along. Mr Speaker, turning my attention to Sidlaw House, there are 650 people working there who have been offered nothing more than empty promises about a potential move to the Department for Work and Pensions to work on universal credit. We know that the DWP is undertaking its own potentially far-reaching estate review in the face of what are likely to be swingeing cuts in tomorrow's autumn statement, which could very well see it too pull out of the city altogether. The employees at Sidlaw House deserve better. They deserve to know the truth. Mr Speaker, Dundee cannot afford to lose these highly skilled jobs. These plans, as they stand, represent an absolute hammer blow to Dundee, with at least 130 skilled jobs being cut by a Tory government with no mandate in Scotland. As I have outlined above, there is also no clarity about the 650 jobs at Sidlaw House in my constituency and whether they be transferred to DWP. Families across the city will be devastated by this news and worried about the future, and I cannot stress enough my opposition to this. Thank you.